this video, I'm going to show you how to create the upside down look from Stranger Things. We're going to do it from scratch. And guys, just want to take a second and tell you that the idea behind this entire channel is to turn you into a tastemaker, okay? There's a lot of theory-based channels and videos out there, but at the end of the day, if there's no context to what technique you're learning, it's sort of useless. You can't really apply it in the real world, okay? And on my channel, I always flip that script, all right? I always want to show you guys practical stuff that once you give me your 15, 20 minutes, however long the video is, I want you to take that knowledge that you learn and apply it to your next project, okay? I want you to be profitable. So that is always going to be the agenda on this channel. So let's jump right in and check this out. So on shotdeck.com, I went ahead and I picked out the upside down look, which is right here. So that's what we picked from season 1, episode 5. Okay. And then I went ahead, brought it in to Resolve and added it to my movies power grades. So I'm going to bring that in right here. So this is what we have. So when we look at our scopes, by the way, my scopes are set up in a quad formation. I already did a video about that. If you want to learn more, check it out on my channel. But what we get looking at my scopes here is that this is pretty much a monochrome image, okay? And we can see the colors, right? The only color that we see here on our vector scope is this teal, all right? And then we can confirm that looking at our vector scope too, like where everything is sitting. And this basically tells us the entire story, okay, that we need to know. Now I'm gonna switch back to our image. And this is the shot from Sony A7S III, I believe. And it is shot in S-Log3. So this is what we got. We're taking an image from Sony and trying to compare it or create a look from Stranger Things. And this was shot on red, okay? So the way I'm going to do this is going to be, as always, let's just lay out the node tree, all right? So I'm going to create about 5 nodes. This one is going to be our CST, color space transform. This one is going to be our S-curve, okay? This one is going to be our look. And then this one is going to be our secret sauce, okay? And then this one is going to be our adjustments. The sequence always matters, and you're going to find out why it matters so much. And I always tell you guys that you guys need to know the proper node tree structure to like really create awesome grades. This is going to be a good example of that. And then if you guys want to learn more about that, let's just take a second and mention my free webinar. Link is going to be in the description. And guys, this teaches you that, how to set up a proper node tree and 100 other things in 1 hour. This training is jam-packed, okay? It comes with practice footage, power grades, and LUTs created by me. So if you want to learn more about that, you should join this free training. Link is going to be in the description. And now let's jump in. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to go under my CST, color space transform, drop on our OFX, and then go ahead and give it proper information. So we already know that this was shot in S-Log3. And then the gamma was S-Log3 right here. And then we want it to be Rec 709. And then we're going to set that to gamma 2.4. Let me show you my color management. My timeline color space is set to DaVinci White Gamut Intermediate. This is how I always work ever since they introduced DaVinci White Gamut. I feel like it's the cleanest color space, and how every tool operates, I absolutely love it. So this is what I've been using since the birth of, again, DaVinci White Gamut. So I'm going to cancel out. This is how everything is set up. And this is where we're at. And this is where we need to get to. So long ways to go. And I want to show you something, okay? When I play this through, you guys are going to see all these different colors that are introduced here, okay? Whereas, once again, if we go back to our image, what did we talk about? Let's just go and park right here. And look at all the colors that we have compared to what we need to create, okay? So this is as difficult as it gets. So knowing your tools is a must, because once you have that knowledge, it's really easy to just look at your reference and go, okay, I know what to do. I can do X, Y, and Z and get there. And this is where I come in. My job is to give you that secret sauce. So when you're asked to create a certain look, or if you're just working on your own project and want to experiment and create a fun look, you'll have the right tools for that particular job. Okay. So what I'm going to do is the next step is going to be to go under in our secret sauce node. And in here, I'm going to type in compressor, color compressor. Okay. I'm going to drop that on. I'm going to go back to my hero frame, and, or we can actually, just for the example's sake, park it somewhere around here and look what happens. So the idea behind color compressor is that I can create a target color, which in this case will be blue. And then if I click right here, I can take my, compress hue parameter and start compressing that hue, meaning I'm saying, hey, bring everything closer. You can see it in your vector scope, what's happening. I'm saying, hey, bring everything close to that blue. Like, just bring it all in, close to that blue. See? So we just basically removed any other color that is not blue. Okay? And then for the saturation, to get cleaner, more believable results, I'm going to go open that up to somewhere around here. Maybe we can extend it just a little bit more. Something like this. We can just leave it here because then that's going to give us organic results. All right. And we pretty much eliminated any other color than what we need to focus on. At this point, I can go back to my hero frame, and our job with this tool is done. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to go under my look node, and I'm going to pop open my reference. And here, all I'm going to do is just look. I'm going to go under my hue and I'm going to start messing with it. Okay. I'm going to start moving it around to like where I think we are in the ballpark. So like say somewhere around here. Okay. Somewhere around here. So what's going on? Like we're still not close. Like this looks just kind of weird. And what's happening is that there's way too much saturation right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my saturation and I'm going to start closing it in. Okay. Not too much. So we'll keep it somewhere around here. And now I'm going to keep moving my hue to something like this. And now look at it. Okay. So that one step, this one node brought us really close. And because we unified all our hues by using this tool, we are right in the ballpark. Next step is going to be our custom curve. So here, what I want to do is I'm just ballparking it to what's going on here. And I'm going to create a point somewhere around here, and I'm going to start bringing it in. Okay. And I'm going to keep bringing it in to something like, let's see. Maybe something like this. Doesn't look too bad if I do before and after. Okay. And at this point, I'm going to go back to my look and keep adjusting it. Okay. So I'm going to move it around now. And then what do we need to do? Like kill the saturation a little bit. Yep. That helps. And then like, look at it. I'm just literally focusing right here to get in the ballpark. So this is before, this is after. Just look at what these two nodes did right here. And at this point, I'm going to go under my adjustment. I want to take my gain and I want to pull it down a little bit. I'm sorry. I want to grab my gain. So let's go back in here and pull it down a little bit, not too much. Okay. So just a little bit. And I'm basically just looking at this right here. Okay. And I want to put these two right in the same ballpark. So if I do before and after, you can see what's happening. Even if you look at my highlights. So now somebody can go, well, where are the highlights here? If I were to go here and hover over, you guys can see that the highlights are peaking. Like even here, they're all the way up there. And that's what's going on over here too. Our highlights are up there. Okay. So our highlights are pretty accurate. We have a really accurate image right now. And it didn't take a lot of steps to get there. Now, one more thing that I want to do, I want to go under my curves and I want to add a little bit more green into the areas that has a bit more bluish tint than what's going on here. Okay, so I'm going to go under my greens and I'm going to lift it up a little bit. I'm going to go under my cyan and lift it up a little bit. Not too much. So even something like that, something like this, I feel like is a little bit of a closer match if I do before and after. So this doesn't look too bad. Okay. And once again, guys, look at what we got going on here. Look at their image and look at our image. We're right there in that world, okay? One more thing that I want to do in my custom curves, I want to lift my blacks up just a tiny bit. So I'm going to go under my log wheels and I'm just going to pick up my reds a little bit, okay? And just look at what I'm doing right here. I'm trying to match that, okay? So I just like lifted my reds just a tiny bit, okay? And I feel like I'm happy with what it does. I'm going to go back in my curves and I'm just going to go back and bring back some of that bluish cyan. It's pixel peeping, guys. Like, you don't necessarily have to do it, but I'm just a freak like that. So I feel like just by little, we can go a long way, okay? We can really bring these worlds together. Now what I want to do at this point, it's extracurricular. And I just want to... So here's the thing, right? Like, I see a little bit more blue here compared to like the green that we see in our reference, okay? So that's why setting up your scopes like this is very important. So I want to go back in and what's causing that? So like, let me take my blues and move them. So now we're getting a little bit closer. I'm just looking at these two, okay? Okay, I'm happy with what's happening here. Let's give it a little bit more saturation and then pull it back if we need to. All right, this is very, very close. I'm not going to obsess over it anymore. And the next thing I'm going to do is let's create one more node right here and let's call it halation, okay? And the tool that I'm going to use is Dehancer. So obviously this is a paid plugin, so you might not have access to it. So this is, again, extracurricular. You don't need to do this step. This just adds that much more realism. And this is the tool that I pretty much use on every single job that I work on, professional job that I work on. And the power of this tool is just second to none, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under halation and I'm going to turn that on. Now, one thing that I do want to mention that, trust me, every major project that you see and the way it looks, they're using either their proprietary plugins or they're using these third-party plugins, okay? So, because there's only so much you can do inside Resolve. That extra mile that you want to go to make it look Hollywood or high-end commercial, these tools can get you or help you get there very easily, very effectively, okay? So before we even get into Dehancer, the one thing that I want to show you is this. Remember I said a proper node tree structure matters the most? Let me detach this by hitting E. Detach this node and then plug this node right before our secret sauce node. Look what just happened. Same color changes, same everything. Look at the results. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to put it where we had it. You understand what I'm saying? That's just one quick example of like why it is important to have a proper node tree structure, because you might just think if I'm using an OFX, then it should always go at the end. That's not the case. Same thing with this. Like usually I tell you guys to put halation up top. Why am I putting halation all the way down here? You're about to find out, okay? So what I want to do here is I want to go down here and I want to intensify it, like really push it for you guys to see what I'm talking about. So if I go all the way, you can start seeing a little bit of like this red halo that's coming in, right? Before, after, right? This thing is coming in. Now, if we go to our reference, we can see just a little bit like around our guy. It's a hint, and this is where this red comes from. It's not pronounced at all, but it is just a suggestion. But let me show you this. Again, if I detach this node by hitting E, and I put this right here, look at what happens. Like, this is not halation at all. Halation should have that little red fringing. And now if I detach it again and put it where I had it, you see, that is the most natural effect right here. And that all of this is being caused because of like what we did in the color compressor node, okay? So in this particular example, then you have to put halation all the way down here. So that's why, guys, it really matters, and you should check out my free training because there's so many hidden gems and Easter eggs in there when it comes to building a proper node tree. It's going to blow your mind. So once again, now we don't really want to push it this far because that's going to be unrealistic, because that's not what's happening in our reference. So I'm going to go ahead and go back on that and just leave the halation to just do this. This is a really subtle effect, but it just does enough. But what I really wanted to use this tool for is for grain as well. And obviously when you turn on grain, it's absolutely ignorant, makes no sense. So what I want to do is I want to take the amount, bring it down to like around 5-ish, okay? I want to take the resolution all the way up. So 100% film resolution mean like 8K basically. And if I bring this down, that's like just 240p or something. Okay, that's the way I was told by the factory driver from Dehancer. The shadow detail, I want to bring it down to like around 6-ish. Highlights, I want to bring it down to 5-ish. Highlights, same thing. Midtone, same thing. And then chroma, I want to leave it as is. That's what I want to do. And if I pull back, look at this. Before, after, so much natural texture, looks so beautiful. And now, if we just go back and forth between the two, and if I do this, just look at what we created, okay? Now, a couple of things that I am noticing right now is the saturation levels are still really, really off, okay? So what I'm gonna do, and then another thing is like just the overall exposure. I feel like we have just, this is still brought up quite a bit compared to what we see here. So I'm gonna go under my adjustments. First of all, I'm gonna go back into my gain, and I'm gonna pull that down, and I'm just like literally going by like the feel, like where does this feel close to me? Like where they're just like now living in the same world. So even like somewhere around here, I feel like it starts to look better, okay? And now I'm gonna go under my highlights, and what I wanna do is just raise my highlights, okay? So they are kind of up there because, again, look at this light right here, okay? So I want to just make sure that my lights go up there too, like pretty bright. So they just go all the way up. So that right there is looking good to me. Even something like this, because I'm just looking at these two right there, okay? Now I want to go under my saturation and then pull that down a little bit, not too much. And then let's go back under hue and bring a little bit more of that blue in there. And this is looking good, right? So, I mean, small changes. And one more thing that I want to do is I want to bring up my girl just a tiny bit. So that's going to get done under our shadows. So I'm going to go in here and in my S curve on this level, I'm just going to go ahead and bring her up. I'm just kind of eyeballing it right now. So even something like this. So this to me looks much better. So guys, check this out, okay? If I just do this and go between the two, I mean, just look at what we started and where we ended up, and even down to something like this, like how close we've gotten there. And let's do this. So I'm gonna go all the way here and I'm gonna go in this mode. Let's kill all of these. So this is our lock to X709 conversion. Then we went ahead and compressed our colors, created an S curve to to really get in the ballpark, dialed in our colors. This is our look node. Made adjustments that made all the difference in the world. Okay, that made a big difference. And then halation just does enough to separate our highlights. And then grain is also added in here. Now going back in here, you know, yes, this might be better in terms of like this shot right here, but we have to remember that we're trying to create that world right there. Okay, so like, what else can I do? Can I just go back in my gain and lift it up a little bit? Like, does that do anything? Like if I just like lift that up a little bit like that, so we can see our girl just a little bit more, and then maybe go under my log wheels and grab my shadows and pull it down just a touch. So that might not be bad, okay, where we're at right now. So I'm just not gonna obsess over it anymore. I'm gonna go in here, delete this one, and then let's go ahead and save this one. And this is what we got, guys. And the best thing about it is this, okay? If I just hit play, let this entire thing play out, I don't need to create power windows. I don't need to create qualifiers. I don't need to worry about any artifacting or additional power windows or making sure nothing is blowing out. Like, everything is locked in. It's perfect. And this is our entire look DNA, okay? We can apply this on the entire scene and then just go in, use our offset to make sure that the exposure stays the same, right? For shot matching purposes. But this is what we got. And guys, this is why I tell you it is very important to know the ins and outs when it comes to color grading, but you have to put it in context, right? If I would have shown you the color compressor without the context, it would have been really hard for you to understand how it works. But now that you've seen it in this particular example, I'm sure a whole new world just opened up for you. And if you really want to then take all of this that you learned here, 10x that, and get to the next level, then you have to check out my free training. I promise you, this training might as well be a 2-day boot camp that is compressed into 1 hour accelerated course. Link is in the description. Check it out. It's absolutely free. If you're enjoying the content, do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for more awesomeness. If you have any content suggestions, do me a favor, drop it in the comment section below. And remember, work hard, get obsessed, get possessed. I will see you guys in the next video.